Good day, everyone. My name is Michelle D. Clark, and I'm your favorite small town girl with big time dreams who God has definitely shown His grace and His mercy, and He has saved me from some life threatening things. And I'm so glad He did because today is a thrilling, thankful Thursday on purpose. Why? Because I said so, and of course you can too. So, all right, welcome everyone to the show. Uh, oh, what is the show? Of course, let me tell you, it's Great at Eight Mindset Matters, right? So, welcome to Great at Eight Mindset Matters, where we have been meeting every day since last Monday, not the Monday that just passed, the one prior to that. And we've been able to connect each and every night where we're talking about things that's important to the mind. Basically, how does the mind work? And how can we get the mind to work for us? So, before we get into our show and continue from yesterday, so if you didn't get a chance to see yesterday's show, okay, hashtag replay is for real. You definitely want to catch yesterday's show and catch up. If you haven't watched the series, make sure you catch up so that way you can get the I guess the long of the short because it's only 20-minute segments. So you get the long of the short, you get the full episodes and understanding of what we've been talking about all the way from day one. So, but before we get into that, let's get into some household, not rules, but culture. So let's get into some household culture. And of course, for those of you all who are repeat supporters, you already know. First of all, welcome back. And you already know what's the deal, what is some of our culture. And for those of you who are new, welcome for the first time. And so let's clue you in so that way you're not, okay, well, Michelle, let me know. What is the culture? Okay, great. First of all, I see eyeballs popping up. So when you enter the room, if you would like to have a proper shout out, then make sure to put your name and where you're watching from, and I don't mean like LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, which is fine if you want to, but I mean like where regionally or where globally are you watching, right? Sorry. So that's part one. And of course, that's only if you want a proper shout out or if you just want to say, hey, that's cool too. All right. So part two is we always have our water on deck, as I do. Why? So that way we can take a pause for station identification for our hydration. Yes. So we all take a pause, we get our drink, and if an event that you already have your drink handy, that's fine. Then you know what? You can just take this time to reach out to somebody else. Let them know what's going on. Share this, like this. And if, of course, if you're on YouTube, then make sure you're subscribed and click the little bell so that way you will stay in the know when we drop new content just like we are today. And of course, if you don't have your water, this is a good chance to go run and grab it real quick and then come on back so that you can take a sip with us. And of course, you can stay hydrated through the whole show. Now, I can't because I'm sure you all did not come on just to see me drink water. So let's take our quick break for station identification for our own hydration. All right, now I got to crack mine open. This is a new bottle here. All right, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Mm. Ooh, and that was 2 sips. All right, you all. So, and actually, that I had gotten out of the car earlier, and it is still nice and cool because normally I drink mine room temp, which I've heard is better for us. Anyways, so let's get going because we only have 20 minutes together. So I want to do a quick recap, like I do at the top of every hour. I do a quick recap so then that way we can all be brought up to speed. So we talked about how the mind works, mapping out our cognitions, mapping out our thought process. So everything starts with an event, right? And based on the event, we have thoughts, good or bad or otherwise. So we have thoughts about the event. And then the thoughts that we have generates feelings about the event, good, bad, or otherwise, which then, of course, produces an outcome, good, bad, or otherwise. So we say outcome like behaviors, responses, reactions, actions, whatever you want to call it, right? So that's how it maps out. Now, we also talked about how, well, if I have a negative thought about something or positive thought about something, does that mean that I am now destined to have a positive or a negative feeling or outcome based on the thought that I had? So if the thought is positive, we have positive, positive, or if the thought is negative, 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 based on the event. Is that what that's about? Yes and no. So yes and no meaning we could, but we don't have to. The beauty of it is there's something called thought replacements that we utilize to replace the thought. If it is something that we don't want to continue to have, then all we have to do is replace it with something else. Now I know that sounds simple. It may not be that easy. And sometimes when we're replacing thought, now this is a new one, y'all. Sometimes when we're replacing that thought, we have to do it repeatedly. Repeatedly. So in other words, it's kind of like when you, the first thing that came to my mind was um, when you wash something and then it doesn't come out clean and you have to repeat it. Like we take a shower and that shower lasts fine for that day, but the next day we should probably get back in and do it all over again, right? Or if we wash a dish or something like that and run it through the dishwasher, bring it out like, there are spots on there. We might have to run it back through again or whatever the case may be, and wash, rinse, repeat, right? So that's what we have to do with our mind. So when people talk about brainwashing, that's a real thing. So we have to wash, rinse, repeat. So if the thought did not take the new thought, the thought replacement did not take hold, then we have to either continuously replace it with that same thought or a different, maybe more powerful, and maybe, again, we did talk about this, something that is just a little incrementally different. Remember, we talked about how, and of course, no frogs are hurt in this example, but remember, we talked about the frog. If you just put him in lukewarm water and then turn it up, then he won't jump out. But if you put him in the hot boiling water, he's going to jump right out. So that's the same thing where if we put a ideal in our mind that's way far-fetched, so we try to replace the thought with something that's way far-fetched than what we were originally thinking, it probably won't take hold because it's too much of a shift from our from our belief systems, from our BS belief systems. So we want to incrementally, remember we talked about how the rocket ship is off course 97% of the time, but it makes it to the destination because of the incremental adjustments that it makes along the way. That's what we sometimes have to do in order to have our minds work for us instead of against us. Because what happens is, remember, we talk about schemas, SCHEMAS, schemas. Yes, the groupings of ideas, collections. There's a shortcut. So it's like a filing cabinet system. That's why I do my hand like this, filing cabinet system. So that way, when we experience something, we experience new all over again. We experience something new. It's like, that looks like this, and it sticks it in there. So, well, that's a good thing. Why? Because we don't have to experience things all over again. That's a bad thing because why? Sometimes we don't have to experience things all over again. In other words, sometimes a shortcut is not good. Think about this. If you have a square and you cut off all the corners, trying to cut corners, what do you end up with? A circle. Sometimes you end up going around in circles. All right. Somebody might want to use that one. But the bottom line is it's good because sometimes it takes time off of our learning curve, but sometimes it's bad because it goes into a place that now keeps us from being able to have our minds open to receiving new information that's different from the information that we already have built up in our system. Okay, so got up to speed to that. So thought replacement. So when we're replacing the thoughts, we want to be able to replace it with something that's incrementally different, not always something that's the stark contrast of that initial thought. Of course, we talked about when we're challenging our thoughts to challenge it with, okay, is it true or not true? If it's not true, replace it with the truth. If it is true, is it helpful or unhelpful? If it's unhelpful, think of something that's more helpful. Helpful to whatever goal or whatever your desired outcome is. That's that. All right, you all. So now yesterday, that was a lot of talking. I'm gonna take a quick break for station identification for my hydration. Hold on one quick second here. Okay, so that was speed talking to get us up to this point. Okay, so yesterday we left off with talking about how when we continuously break promises to ourselves, we're building up our belief systems working against us. Meaning that when we continuously say things that we say we're going to do, but then we don't end up doing it, we stop believing in ourselves. Just like if we were in a relationship and someone kept lying to us, that's what it is, right? When someone kept lying to us, sooner or later, we would say, you know what? You're a liar and I'm not going to believe you anymore. And not only do I not believe you, I don't believe in you. There's a difference. I don't believe in you. And unfortunately, that's the same thing happens with ourselves. We continuously lie to ourselves. We stop believing ourselves. And worse yet, we stop believing in ourselves. Okay, so you may say to yourself, well then, Michelle, how do I turn the tables? How can I now go from this disbelief in myself, not believing in myself, to now believing in myself? So this may sound like, okay, Michelle, duh, I could have figured that out. But hear me out. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we set small, incremental tasks for ourselves, things that we can do over a repeated period of time. So repeat it over a long period of time is what I was trying to say. So that way we can start to build up our confidence back into ourselves. Because again, what happened was when we start saying that we were going to do something but didn't do it, we started building up that disbelief. So now we have to build up the belief. So instead of like, well, how do we take down the disbelief? Well, you take down the disbelief by building up the belief. So it's going to go like this. It's almost like a pulley system. The more we believe in ourselves, the less likely it is for other people and ourselves to now be able to cast false narratives onto us. We're getting into some new concepts here, you guys. So just imagine this. Okay, picture this. Sicily, 1929. Just kidding. Picture this. Again, we have to keep the fun and fundamentals, right? But picture this. Think about something that you hold near and dear to yourselves. Wait, before I finish this concept, I see some more eyeballs popping on. So welcome to the show. If this is your first time, welcome. If you are a repeat supporter, welcome back. Go ahead and put your name in the chat if you would like to have a proper shout out. All right, so back to our regularly scheduled program. So we're talking about the pulley system and how we're going to build up those beliefs. So I was going to say that picture this, that think about an idea or something that you hold true, near and dear about yourself. So you might say to yourself, okay, maybe you went to Stanford, or maybe you're an attorney, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever. And you say, you know what? I'm smart, or I'm educated, or I'm brilliant, or let's say that you're drop dead gorgeous. And you're like, oh, I'm beautiful. I woke up like this. If someone were to try to say something to you like, ugh, you're so ugly, would you believe them? If they said to you, for the person who's brilliant, smart, intelligent, creative, that you're so stupid, would you believe them? No. Because what happens is you've built up this belief in yourself such that when there's a opposing idea that is now trying to interfere with what you've come up with for yourself, you're not going to believe it, because that does not compute. Well, Robinson, that does not compute. When you look at when the brain goes into the filing cabinet system, it says, stupid. Nope, doesn't compute. Forget it, and it throws it out. That was a reference from Inside Out. Yes, it says forget it. That does not compute. We're throwing that out. So that's the same thing. And so again, the pendulum swings both ways. So on the flip side, we've built up that negative equity, if you will. We built up negative equity in our belief systems, in ourselves. When someone then tries to come in and say, so if we believe about ourselves that we're not smart, we may believe that we're stupid or ugly or lazy or a loser. Ooh, that it hurts me to the core to even say these things. But those are beliefs that people really hold about themselves, right? And not just people. If you all caught my show, if you caught Great at 8, Mindset Matters, on Sunday, I was very transparent with my background and how not only did I not believe in myself, but I felt that I was dirty, disgusting, tainted, vile, something to just be used up and thrown out because of the things that I've experienced, the traumas that I've experienced. I thought that those things made me, but not in a way that was purposeful, but in ways that was hurtful. But thank goodness I put in the work to work on myself, utilizing the strategies that I'm telling you about right now, surrounding myself with people who love me and care about me and want to see me succeed, getting professional help. Yes, therapy helped me to take something that I thought made me in a bad purpose and repurpose it, transform it, into being that beacon of light, being that light for other women. And it does, again, it doesn't matter what your status is now. I guarantee you there are people at what we might consider like the highest, if we're talking about like a hierarchy, if we're talking about like, president and all that kind of stuff on down. I guarantee you, no matter how professional that we are, there's something in the past that we may have experienced that haunts us. And then we have to make those shifts, those incremental shifts, those thought replacements, building up the equity in ourselves to remind ourselves of who we are and whose we are. And no matter what we've been through, those things, the things that we've been through don't define us in that way. It's just building up our testimonies. Those are the tests that are building up our testimonies. They're not obstacles. They're not stumbling blocks. They're stepping stones. That's what they are. So we have to start back building the equity into ourselves. If y'all are feeling this, show me some love in the chat. Show me some love in the chat. If you are saying, you know what, I can use some equity myself, or you know what, I've done that. I've used some equity. I've built some equity myself. Go ahead and either put a heart in the chat, or go ahead and throw me a twos, like, hey, peace in the chat. But show me that you're still listening. Show me that you're with me. I want to know you're with me. Because again, yes, I know in these 20-minute segments, it may not appear as interactive. I know on our Tuesday talks with Ms. Clark, LMSW 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I know I do a rapid fire AMA, and it's a lot of chatty in the I'm gonna say chatty in the Kathy, chatty in the chat, and that's cool. We can chat too. I love to hear your thoughts and ideas about the things that we've been talking about on our Mindset Matters, our Graded 8 Mindset Matters up to this point. And so, yes, being able to build up that equity into ourselves. So that way, when an opposing idea, even our own ideals. So I know before when I talked about how if somebody called you stupid and you believe yourself to be smart, that you forget it. But think about the times that we talk to ourselves and we have those negative automatic thoughts. Remember, we talk about those gnats. We have those negative automatic thoughts that pop into our minds. We can refute those things by replacing it with something positive that's incrementally different, that will help to build up our belief equity. Our belief equity. I want to put that in the chat. To build up our belief equity. So that's what we need to do. If we want to make those changes, I mean, we don't have to do anything, right? But if we want to make changes, and even if you say to yourself, you know what, I have a healthy belief equity, meaning positive belief equity. I believe in myself. I never suffer from imposter syndrome. I never have even when those thoughts come to my mind, I'm quickly able to change them over to something positive and keep myself motivated and inspired and moving. I'm a self-starter. Great. And guess what? Somebody said something to me once. Hey, what's going on? Miss Fuchina is in the house. Good evening, good evening. So yes, I had someone say something to me once. And I was like, oh yeah, that's true. So I was visiting with a friend, and my friend was like, I don't remember exactly what we were talking about. Oh, it was something that he was making. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's talking about how he is revolutionizing it, or making it better. And I was like, oh, the way the conversation kind of laid out, it was kind of like, oh, you're changing it. I liked it. I thought it was good. He was like, well, it can always improve. I was like, that's true. Things improve, people improve. I'm in the people business. So of course I was thinking of people, people improve. I didn't really think about in that way, but I guess 3M is 3M for that reason. They don't, what is it? They don't make up the products, but they make them better. So that's their slogan or whatever. So yes, making ourselves better. There's always room for improvement. I believe exactly what he said. There's always room for improvement. There's always room to make something better. And we can make ourselves better by some of the things that we do, and mostly by a lot of things that we say. We talk to ourselves every single day, all day, every day, all day, every day, all day, every day, we talk to ourselves. If somebody ever asks you, who do you talk to the most? You know the answer now because I just said it. But if somebody ever tried to ask you, who do you talk to the most people will say, oh, well, I talk to my mom, or I talk to my spouse, or my kids, or my employees, or my employer, or the customers. Nope. We talk to ourselves more than we talk to anyone else. I just looked at the time. Are you really kidding me? Are you guys, I know it's like, it's always like a surprise every time I see it. Every time I look up, it's like, 20 minutes went so fast. So, okay, you all, that is our segment. So we talked about, brought you up to speed, and then we talked about how we build up that belief equity. So let's carry on this. Let's carry on the conversation. Let's carry on. Oh, I love that. Yes, we can. Absolutely. Yes, we can. Right? That is an affirmation. Yes, we can. So I love that. But yes, we can. We can build up the belief equity in ourselves. So let's talk about it a little bit more tomorrow and go a little deeper dive. So now, if you guys have any questions, you can always hit me up. Of course, you can hit me up on all social media, all the major ones. You hit me up, MicheleDClark Lift everywhere. And that's MiChele. One L of Michelle, because you don't need two and one does the same. And that's the same with my info at MicheleDClark.com, where you can shoot me an email if you need to ask me any questions, or if you have any comments, or if you just want to talk about how, what happened on the show. That's fine too. Also, for ladies only, this Saturday, February 4th, we are having our, let me go up a little bit more, Lift Nation, Freedom at 1, this Saturday, February 4th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, this is in the Zoom room, so you don't even have to leave the comfort of your own home. All you have to do is join the Zoom, get in the room, and have your beautiful faces and your winning smiles. That's all you need, and we'll take care of the rest. Now, you might say to yourself, I do it on camera? Yes, please be camera ready, because I like for it to be an interaction. So I know, like right now, I can't see you. You can see me, but I only see you in the chat. But I want to be able to see you and break bread and all that kind of stuff, especially when we get to our networking side of the event. So make sure that you register right now. How do you do that? I showed you guys a quick sneak preview. Here it is, bit.ly/Lift Freedom at 1. The link is live right now. Go ahead and register, so then that way you can be in the room and not wonder what happened, but be a part of what happened. All right. In addition to that, of course, each and every week we have our Tuesday Talks with Miss Clark, LMSW, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that you are in the place, and that's LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe and click the little bell, so that way you'll be in the know when we drop new content. And if you're not watching it on YouTube, go on over there anyway. Subscribe, click the bell, right? And make sure that you don't keep this as the best kept secret. Tell somebody about it. So like this, share this, tell your friends, tell your other professional women friends about this. So then that way they can be in the know, and they can get a hold of these, again, mindset hacks. Is winning, is taking the lead. So that way they can get these mindset hacks. So the choice was mindset hacks, mindset moments, mindset strategies, right? So hacks are winning so far. So that way you can have these mindset hacks, not just for yourself, but also for those who you love and care about. All right, you all. And of course, hey, maybe some people you don't really love that much that you feel like they need some lifting, right? So then that way they can put out this positive energy into the atmosphere, so we can take down some of this negative atmosphere and energy. All right, that is my story. I'm sticking to it. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you all tomorrow for another episode of Great at 8 Mindset Matters. And then, of course, seeing you on Saturday for Lift Nation, Freedom at 1 for ladies only at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I love you all to life just because you are. My name is MicheleDClark with Lift Nation, and I am the Mindset Management Coach for professional women, where we empower you, the professional woman, to live inspired, free, and transformed. Take care. God bless. See you tomorrow night.